You're welcome to the Economy and Politics Show. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. This edition will discuss addressing the low foreign direct investments inflows in Nigeria. And joining me virtually for this conversation is Mr. Marcel Okeke, a financial analyst and CEO of Mascot Consult. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Abasiekong.
Thank you very much, sir. Let us begin with the reality that over the past decade, Nigeria's foreign direct investment flows have steadily declined relative to economies such as India in the Asian region and even Egypt in South Africa in the African region. What do you think is responsible for this?
Foreign direct investment, when you bring in your money and set up your business here, you have to depend on public power supply to a large extent. But here you are, a supply. We are company to thrive. Okay? That is one. The same thing happens in terms of transportation. Our road infrastructure is nothing to write home about, among other, challenges. So when you put all this together, you also talk about multiplicity of taxes, that investors have to deal with. I was also talking about the legal issues. If you bring in your money and set up your business, and you have any challenge or any issue with anybody, are you going to get the justice that you expect? Okay, and finally, if you want to check out, does the system give you a smooth exit, and so on and so forth. So when you put all this together, Nigeria doesn't, rank highly. And so our environment is not competitive relative to those other countries you mentioned. And all these I have mentioned account for why, the country has not been attracting FDI the way we Nigerians would have loved to see.
When we look at the fact that there was a surge in capital importation for the first quarter of 2024, it moved to $3.38 billion from $1.13 billion in Q1 2023. However, this has majorly been driven by foreign portfolio investment flows. And that has been a major concern I've been tracking. We're not growing in FDIs. But how sustainable is this? Because for first quarter 2024, we just had about $119 million for FDIs.
Again, thank you for this question. Let me answer directly before I now explain. That is not sustainable. As a matter of fact, that we're attracting foreign portfolio investment is a result of some kind of tinkering with, financial instrument. The Central Bank of Nigeria, decided to have a tight monetary stance, and so hiked the interest rate. You understand? And so packaged the Nigerian Treasury bill in such a way that it became so attractive in terms of the rate it's offering for people that patronize. And that succeeded in attracting FPI, to that volume and quantity you're talking about. You understand? So it's a temporary thing. And because of the high interest rates in the industry, the people who are here, businesses within the country, are suffering. They are practically being starved of funds because money is now priced out of their reach. You understand? So while foreign portfolio investors are, going to town, so happy with those rates. You understand? So that's why they have come in on that consideration alone. So the CBN packaged all those things to attract them and to get, hard currency, if you like, for now. But FPI is what is called hot money. Hot money in the sense that the FPI is always looking for the next place to run to. And the owners of such money keep moving them from place to place, depending on where they believe per time that they are going to make the best of returns. You understand? So that is where Nigeria has put itself to attract what you are talking about now. But the other side of it is that the local businesses are suffering. They are being starved of funds. The FDI is not coming in because of those conditions I mentioned to you, which inform the business environment of Nigeria. So that is why you are not getting FDI, you are getting FPI. And that cannot last long because the Central Bank of Nigeria must be sensitive, to the sufferings, you understand, or denials is meting out to businesses that are already within the system. You understand? So even though it claims to be fighting inflation, with high interest rate, for how long has inflation been fought really effectively? Has it come down? Or does the CBN think that it can use that instrument of hiking interest rate alone, to tackle inflation? I doubt, because there are multiplicity of factors that drive the high and rising inflation rate we all see. That's what I have to say for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marcel. Now, when you look at the FDI inflows, even in first quarter 2023, we saw $48 million. Second quarter 2023, $86.03 million. Third quarter 2023, $59.77 million. And like I said earlier, $119.18 million in first quarter 2024. We're not seeing that drive into billion-dollar FDI inflows. What measures do you think can be taken to drive FDI rather than the FPI inflows? Taking us back to what happened in 2002, where we had the telco revolution, which attracted significant FDI inflows into the country.
There are a lot of factors. A lot of things have to be done, have to be in place, to attract FDI. If I must tell you, one fundamental reason, for the diminishing FDI is the security or insecurity situation in Nigeria. Because as a business person, when you bring in your millions of dollars, you have to be alive, okay? So, yeah. But as we speak, you know how widespread, that insecurity is in Nigeria. That is one factor. The other factor, again, like I mentioned earlier on, is the issue of infrastructure. When you look at the quality of infrastructure we have, where do we rank vis-a-vis other countries of the world that we are competing with or against? You understand? So, in terms of infrastructure too, we don't rank highly. Then you come into the legal side of business. You find out that our history doesn't really just when it comes to dealing with investors from outside. There's the classic example of Virgin Atlantic when it came here to set up its airline, and people, the officialdom, people at various levels in government, decided to be funny, if you like. And the owners of Virgin Atlantic didn't find it, funny on their own side. And so they were frustrated out. They left, and that sent all kinds of signal to the rest of the world that this is not the best of place to bring in money. You understand? So that is why you have more people coming to FPI and just bringing in their money to play the capital market and just, capital and money market and get away from there. You understand? So Nigeria, in terms of business environment, in terms of all I have mentioned, don't, rank highly and are not therefore competitive vis-a-vis other countries to attract the kind of FDI will be expected. It's not a function of, globetrotting. You have the president and his team going all over the world, pleading with people to come and invest. No, like I told you, the world is a global village. And almost every country of the world has their embassies here in Nigeria. They have their ambassador, they have their diplomats, who are monitoring and see what is going on here, whether the economic plane, political plane, and so on and so forth. So they send their report back to their, home countries. And businesses all in those places use those information in making up their mind whether to come to Nigeria or not. You understand? So this is the way the world functions. Thank you.
Thank you. We need real money. That's the FDI inflows, not the hot money, which is the FPIs. But from your assessments, could the absence of a coordinated trade policy be a major impediment to attracting FDI inflows into the economy? You rightly said it. We've seen trips to various countries. We've seen trips to Saudi Arabia, India, United Arab Emirates, trips to just try and strengthen bilateral and multilateral relations and attract FDI inflows. But yet, the FDIs are not coming in as expected.
Well, for what to be said, the government needs our politics and political environment in Nigeria doesn't recommend us, understand? Because the other day, all of us saw how elections, took place in the UK and saw how, changed hands within a question of a few hours. But our own here in Nigeria, the tortuous part, that we go through, full of court cases and all that, for us to arrive at who becomes the president, who becomes the senator, and so on and so forth. So foreign investors are also looking at this. At the end of the day, it causes a lot of instability because every investor is interested in who occupies what position, especially at the top level of government. You understand? So when foreign investors are not usually easily attracted, to come in, Okay, so I've talked about insecurity in the land. I've also talked about serious infrastructure gap and the dilapidated nature of the kind of infrastructure we have, and so on and so forth. So all these are not things that even the government of the day can handle and improve upon, within a short time. So it needs deliberate long-term effort for these things to be handled. You understand? Because in terms of policies, for example, the government of the day must accept the reality and begin to tinker with it so that we improve on how we do our elections and elect our leaders. You understand? That has to be. The other one is the infrastructure gap, which is always there. It's one thing to talk about trillions that are budgeted or claimed to have been spent in infrastructure. It's another thing for us, Nigerians and investors, to see it and to see that it's working for us. Understand? Look at power, for example. Power. How far are we? Successive governments has, paid a lot of lip service to it. And yet, billions of dollars are claimed to have been sunk into it. So what do we have? Okay? And today we're talking about, hiking tariff instead of improving the quality of power supply. So not foreign investors cannot be attracted, with this kind of situation. I'm taking power alone. If you're a business and you come in and you do your planning and projection based on 1,000 naira per liter for diesel, for example, and all of a sudden the thing climbs up to 1,500 or 1,000 in a matter of months, how do you adjust to accommodate that sudden or sharp increase? You understand? Or you talk about the exchange rate. You do your planning based on 500 naira per dollar, and all of a sudden it moves to 1,000 or 1,500, which is what has happened in recent months. Okay, and which is why businesses are leaving, because they are not seeing an end to that volatility in the market. You understand? They don't see the end, and they know what they have lost within those few months that they have been exposed to this kind of instability and so on and so forth. Businesses don't thrive in such volatility in every segment of the environment. So all these are the things government must handle for FDI and for businesses to be attracted. And it's not an easy task. There's no short-term solution to all of this. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no short-term, there's long-term, but of course, political will and coordination. Now, the global economy is in a race for capital, and Nigeria needs to reposition itself to be attractive. There have been calls for financialization of state assets. For example, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is still in the front burner. But my question to you, because there's need to unlock capital now. We are seeing some domestic investments like the Dangotes, like the BUA groups and all that. Domestic investments are going on. But what should be the priority of the new leadership at the Bureau of Public Enterprises, who can also help to galvanize these activities?
Nigeria has a lot of assets that are lying waste, lying fallow. You understand? Let us talk about the one that is one of the serious problems or challenges we're facing now, which is refined product. Okay? That is fuel, PMS.
Yes.
You know that this country used to have 4 huge functional refineries, 4 of them. Okay? 2 in Port Harcourt, I believe, 1 in Warri and 1 in Kaduna. Okay? But in the past couple of years, the 4 of them have been lying waste, all broken down. And the billions of dollars have been claimed to have been spent, in getting them restreamed. And there's nothing to show for it so far. You understand? Yes. Okay. So, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, for me, government should give them express approval, to dispose of these refineries, by way of as is, where is. In other words, in the shape, in whatever shape they are. You understand? The sooner that is done, the better. You understand? So that at least 1, at least 2, at least 3 of them will start functioning and run properly as businesses. You understand? And not as government entities that are usually no man's business. Okay? Which was what saw them to the state they are today. And talking about public assets, we used to hear about sea rolling mills in various locations. You have at Oshobo, you have one at Delta, you have one at somewhere in the whether Cross River or Akwa Ibom, you have one in Jos. So the Bureau of Public Enterprises should dig into all this and discover this place, and in whatever state they are. You understand? There will be private sector investors who will go and assess them and, you know, be able and capable and willing to pay government reasonable amount to take over those places. But because they are government property, they are public assets, they have been left there lying fallow. That is true. The other one is, you know, there used to be a federal secretariat at Ikoyi, Lagos here.
Yeah.
Go there and see those mansions. Those buildings have been lying fallow there for God knows how long, since our federal capital operations moved to Abuja. They've been lying fallow. How many years ago? Those buildings are there. You understand? So, and they are public assets, solid one. Okay? They will be willing investors. Whatever legal issues around them are things that could be settled. And, you know, people will take them over and turn them into veritable business, you know, center and all that. And you see people coming to occupy them as offices. And because they are well positioned, they are accessible, the roads are there, everything is there. It's a question of human beings who were inside, they moved to Abuja, and everything was left to keep decaying. You understand? And so you have these buildings and these structures all over the country. Okay? So I propose, or I agree with you in total, that the Bureau of Public Enterprises should look into these areas and convert this into real money, because the government needs money. So this issue of going all over the world cap in hand, you know, borrowing here, borrowing there, is getting Nigeria over leveraged. If you say so, okay. Very soon our debt profile will no longer be sustainable if it has not gotten so bad yet. You understand? So I propose strongly that the Bureau of Public Enterprise has its job carved out for it immediately. There's a lot of things to deal with, and money will flow in. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marcel Okeke. Very interesting conversation we've had on addressing the low foreign direct investment inflows in Nigeria. And one key word you've said is that the Mr. Ayo Gbeleyi-led Bureau of Public Enterprise should be given that express approval to begin to leverage our state assets and take them on to be unlocked for value for the country, where private sector can come in and, of course, turn them around from the refineries to assets, various assets in the country and outside the country that need to be utilized. That's a very key one. And thank you very much once again for this conversation. We look forward to further conversations with you, Mr. Marcel Okeke, CEO, Mascot Consult, and a financial analyst. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much for having me. My pleasure.
Thank you. To our viewers, if you want to get further insights on this conversation, especially this conversation around addressing the low investment drive in the country, the low FDI inflows in the country, visit our website displayed on the screen and follow our social media platforms for further updates and engage on the conversations around economy and policy. Till you come your way again, enrich yourself with the knowledge of socioeconomic developments around you, because it is the wise thing to do. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.